Hey everyone, welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul, and this is Subscriber Spotlight, where I have conversations with inspiring runners to help motivate you on your running journey. Today I'm speaking with the host of the Determined Runner channel here on YouTube, Mr. Martin Bell. In this conversation, we talk about his diagnosis and treatment for prostate cancer and his amazing return to running. But we also cover a lot more ground in this conversation, like the sheer beauty of his native country of Scotland and a whole lot more. So please stay tuned. Here we go. Martin, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me on, Paul, and hello to everyone out there watching.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's a real pleasure talking to you today. And before we get in too deep to the heart of the matter here, I'm hoping that you can just share a short bio, who you are, where you're from, anything that you think is relevant.
Sure. That's fine. So Martin, in Scotland, a place called Aviemore in Scotland. I'm pretty obsessed with running and have been for some time. So I got into, well, I won't go into when I got into running because that's probably one of your questions.
Oh yeah, I mean, take it any way you want to.
Go for it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, but basically I was coming up to 40 and thought I haven't ran since I've been at school. So I'm going to enter a local 10K. So I wondered whether or not I was capable to run that far, and entered a 10K. I did it. I did it in a time I was happy with, but I didn't do very well, and I was dressed all wrong. And I ran it really badly. But I learned I could actually run 10K. So that's how I got into my running, and I've been obsessed with it ever since. Really, took me a good few years to enjoy running, but eventually I enjoyed running, and now I love running. I love being on trails. I love being outside and just up hills and talking about running and helping people, other people who have questions about running. That's awesome. That's a bit of a background for me.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to dig a little deeper though.
Yeah.
Going back as far as you think is relevant, tell me a little bit more about your just general athletic background.
Okay, didn't really have one.
Okay.
no athletic background. Did some sports at school, as everybody did, and then left school, drank a lot, smoked a fair bit. The 90s were a bit of a blur. And then I had kids, got married, had kids, was coming up to 40, and thought, I'm starting to develop a bit of a belly here, and I've never really been seriously into my sport. I've done a bit of skiing and a little bit of mountain biking, but not seriously, just a bit here and there. But I didn't really have any athletic background at all. So I thought I'd give running a go. Gotcha. And hence started my midlife crisis. I couldn't afford a fancy car, so I thought I'll buy some trainers instead.
There you go. That's awesome. So that's funny because I'm a late onset runner as well. So we share a lot in common. So we discovered it in our 40s.
Hopefully, because we started later, we'll be able to last a bit longer.
Oh, I think so. I really do. I think there's a lot of truth in what you just said. So I've kind of got a picture of what started you running, but if you don't mind just talking us through some of the highlights of your running career since you did get started.
Yeah, blimey. So highlights, let's see. So started doing shorter runs, 10Ks. It was 10Ks is about as short as I've ever done, and did quite a few of those. And God, the hard work, 10Ks are really hard. You've really got to go all out, and it's not easy. And everyone else is faster than you. It's what I found anyway. So I thought, right, I'm not very good at 10Ks. I'm getting into my running and I want to stick with it, but I'm getting a bit annoyed with not being a bit further up the field. Not that I'm ever going to be close to the front at all, but I don't like it when people pass me. So I thought I'll go a bit further. So I did a half marathon, a local half marathon. And all I wanted to do with that was finish in under 2 hours. And I would have been so happy. And I finished in, I think it was 2 hours and 20 seconds. And I was not happy at all. I can't believe it. And I was dying as well. I remember going home and just hobbling up the stairs, lying on the bed, and thought, how do people do this? This is ridiculous. But I did that, and then I'd entered so like 2 or 3 of the races already. So I'd already committed, which made me carry on. So
Gotcha.
I still wasn't really enjoying my running at that point, but I was determined to keep going and try and get better. So then I started entering marathons thinking, okay, I'm still really slow. I'm still rubbish at this running thing. So maybe if I go a bit further, I'll get a bit better. And the same thing happened with marathons. I'm rubbish at marathons.
Oh, wow.
Marathons are hard work. Same as 10Ks, they're hard work as well.
Yeah.
But after failing miserably, I think I've done four road marathons. I'm not a road person. I'm a trail person. So I moved on to trails and thought I'll go further again. My only theory here has been keep going further because nobody else is silly enough to just keep going.
That's awesome.
So I entered a few ultras and did a bit better with those. So when I started doing a bit better, I was just out for longer as well. I was just enjoying being out for a long time. You go out for a 5K or a 10K, it's really hard and you're not out for very long. But you go out for an ultra, you can walk, you can eat, you can take your time, take in the sights, and it's just nice. So,
I tell you, your description of that, all the best ultra runners, and I consider you one of the best because you know how to do it right and how to enjoy it. That's what tempts me all the time is to move on to ultra running is just the opportunity to get the chance to actually enjoy yourself along the way.
Yeah. It takes a long time to get to do that though, because you try too hard, you blow up and things go wrong. And it is difficult running an ultra, but I definitely got to a point where the time was less of an importance to me. And it was much more important to say hello to someone, stop and take a picture and just go, look at where I am. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And you get that on trail ultras, being in the mountains, much more so than running on a road. I find, I know loads of people love running on roads and that's great. You're much quicker on a road, but speed is less important to me now than it used to be.
Yeah.
Probably just because I'm getting older.
Well, I don't know, but it's also, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that you are surrounded by some utterly beautiful country. I mean, your videos are amazing.
I do live in a lovely part of the world, which was purposely picked to live here just for this reason.
Really? That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So I got to ask you one question because the theme throughout you recounting your running history here is always, I want to go longer. And then you find it's still hard. So you know, it took you a long time to be able to enjoy the process. Have you ever along the way gone back and revisited some of those shorter distances and found that things had changed a little bit? No, go ahead.
It would be good to do that. I've only ever done parkrun's a big thing over here. I don't know if parkrun's big over there, but parkrun's really big, and I really enjoy it. I'll go and watch it sometimes, and I know lots of people that do parkruns, but I've only actually physically ran one parkrun, and again, that was so hard. 5K, my God, the 5K is harder than 10K.
Oh yeah.
Give me a 4-hour, 5-hour run any day over a 20-minute all-out lungs bursting kind of run. But to get better at an ultra, you do need to address your speed and do the shorter distances. But I've not gone down that route really. Maybe I will do in the future. Maybe I'll get to the point of I want to pick up my speed again and I want to gain a few places. But at the moment, and where it has been for the past couple of years, it's been more about the enjoyment. The enjoyment, and lately being able to film for YouTube. So going out for a run doesn't just mean going for a run now. It means going out, putting a camera down, walking backwards and forwards, filming something.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
Trying to think of where I can get a different shot and where's somebody, where haven't you seen on YouTube? Where haven't the viewers seen? So I'm looking at maps going, I've not been there. I'll take them there. I'll take them over here.
That's awesome.
So that's where my running is at the moment. Well, at the moment, my running's non-existent, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, that's where we're going next, actually. Yeah, something that I've found so inspirational about your story is recently, Martin, you shared your diagnosis of prostate cancer.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to say that it looks very much like you're well on your way to a return to running. But I'm hoping that you can walk us through the process from the initial diagnosis through to where you are now, because
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of inspiration and motivation for everybody watching this in your story.
Yeah, well, it's a bolt out the blue would be an understatement. I really wasn't expecting it. So I originally went to the doctors last summer. I had a bad back a lot. So after having a bad back for many months, I eventually went to the doctors and just said, I've had this really bad back. It's really painful just getting a glass out the cupboard and doing virtually anything. So they did an x-ray and took some blood and said, what did they say then? A few months ago. Let me remember. The x-ray came back fine. So no issues with the x-ray. And the blood test, they were away. They should be fine. You won't hear anything unless there's something to hear. So one day the phone goes, the doctor's on the phone. All right, what are you doing on the phone? You said you wouldn't phone me unless there was something to hear. So like, why are you phoning me? It's, all right, we found that you've got high PSA levels in your blood, which I didn't have a clue what that was. So no idea. So I asked what that meant. It basically meant I had to go back in for some more tests. And it was the bend over, finger up the bum time, which was new for me. So I thought, well, they're just testing things, that this is what happens when you get to a certain age. And then the tests came back from that, and they were inconclusive. So I then had to go up to the hospital to have the same sort of tests, more blood. And again, when I was in the hospital, they could feel something, but it wasn't, oh dear me, this is definitely prostate cancer. It doesn't feel normal, but it doesn't feel too bad. We'll do some tests and get back in touch with you. So again, I just go away thinking this is fine, just standard behavior for again getting to this sort of age. And then where were we then? It was MRI time. So had to go back to the hospital, have an MRI, and same sort of thing. There's something we can see, but it's not overly conclusive. You need more tests. Then had to go up and have 12 biopsies. So you get, apparently on your prostate, you have a left and a right, which I was totally unaware of. So they do 6 biopsies on the left, 6 biopsies on the right. Again, off you go home. We'll get in touch. And this will tell us one way or the other if there's anything wrong. And I'm still thinking to myself, this is absolutely fine. My wife at this point is worried and looking on the internet, but she's not letting on to me. And I'm just letting everything go, getting on with life and keeping myself busy. I almost didn't want to know, because I just wanted to get on with things. I'd get a phone call one day and they'd say everything's fine, and you just carry on. And then the day before New Year's Eve, I get a phone call, and the nurse speaks. Everything's phone calls because of COVID. You weren't really going to the hospital for these certain meetings where you normally would. I dare say, when they tell you you've got cancer, you're probably face to face. But in this occasion, it was over a phone call. And she phoned up and said, I'm sorry to tell you, results have come back. It's positive. You do have prostate cancer. And of the 12 biopsies, there are 6 on one side, 6 on the other. One side had one that was cancerish, and the other had all 6 were positive. Wow. So it was a case of, okay, we need to see you soonish. So within 2 weeks, I was up at the hospital having a conversation with the surgeon, who was telling me point blank, as soon as I walked in the door, I sat down, he looked at me and said, you're way too young to be having this conversation with, because most of the people he sees are a bit older. And I just sat down and thought, I was a bit I don't know, it was a bit surreal to me. I was just sat there going, what's going on here? It's like, just been told I'm actually got. Up until that point, I was still a little, it didn't really bother me until that day where I met with the surgeon, and then it knocked me for six. I walked out of there, I was like, holy cow, I didn't know what to think, do, or anything. But my wife felt a lot better having met the surgeon, because he reassured her on lots of facts and told her what was going to happen. Whereas I was a bit more sat there glazed over going, what's going on?
Yeah, just getting over the shock of it.
Yeah, if you're ever in this situation, always take somebody with you, because if Ingrid wasn't there, then I wouldn't have remembered half the things he told me.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
But he also gave me two options and said, for your type of cancer and the stage it's at an early stage. That's good they've caught it, but they need to do something about it. And he told me I had to choose between getting the prostate removed or having brachytherapy, which is a type of radiotherapy. And I was to go home, check it out on the internet, and make a decision, which I found exceptionally hard. Because I thought, how am I supposed to know this? I know nothing about this subject at all. And now I've got to make a life-changing decision.
Yeah.
So I found that really hard. I'd much rather he just said to me, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because he's the expert. I'm not an expert. So after a week of me, it was a bad week. That was a really bad week. I felt like crap. And
I remember you recounting that in one of your videos when you were at that stage.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Yeah, and that's where I started recording just clips, because I found myself, I couldn't even talk about, I couldn't even say the word cancer. I couldn't speak without filling up and getting emotional.
Yeah.
So I'd come into my little office cave here and speak to myself and just try and talk to myself to make it easier, because you weren't meeting your regular friends or anything. COVID, you didn't see anyone. And speaking about it with family was okay in certain circumstances, but I needed to open up a bit more, kind of thing. So I thought I'd just put my GoPro there, talk into the GoPro for myself, just to get it off my chest and be able to start talking about it. Because starting to talk about it made it a lot easier to deal with. If I couldn't talk about it, it would have bottled up. Yeah. And it would have been much worse. So yeah, that's how I started to share my journey.
And that's amazing to me. That I just wanted to put in a point there. Isn't it funny how sometimes it's easier to talk to, I don't want to say strangers, but people that are a little further removed from your daily reality than it is sometimes to talk to your family, Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And then coming in here as well and thinking one day, I've got to tell my kids this. How do you do that? I just didn't know how to do it, but I did. I went through, spoke to them, and they were very good about it. And they were much better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they'd be, a bit more distraught, but they were very matter-of-factly, okay, well, you've got that, the hospital will sort you out, you'll be okay. Whereas when I was their age, and for yourself, we're probably a similar kind of age.
Yeah.
When you found out somebody had cancer, it was doom and gloom. It was.
Oh, absolutely. When I was a kid, good. I remember that. People didn't even like to say the word.
No, definitely not. So it's a lot better now that people are a bit more open about it. But even being more open about it, I felt it's helped me being open about it, but I found I just didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know anyone who had it. So I had no one to ask. And I did hear of a few people who'd had it, and apparently they'd had whatever procedure and they were all fine now and everything was tickety-boo. So I thought, okay, it'll all be fine. But just hearing that doesn't really tell you the ins and outs of what you go through.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you go through a lot.
I think that's probably a little bit of an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. So just to kind of move it to the next stage, once the decision was made that you were going to actually, go under the knife for how did things proceed from there, and how did I don't want to limit the way that you tell the story. So I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
no, that's fine. Well, I don't. I feel as if I should stop now and again, so you should ask me a question. I don't just want to keep.
Yeah, no, there are plenty of questions to come on other subject matter, but I want to
Okay.
leave you to kind of cover this subject
Yeah.
in a way that you're most comfortable with. So I'm not going to try to steer this part of
No,
things.
that's fine. Okay. So, I'd chosen to get my prostate removed because in my head, if it's removed, the cancer's gone and it can't come back.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have the brachytherapy, they put loads of seeds inside the prostate, which emit radioactive. It burns the cancer away over a couple of years. But
Gotcha.
that's a couple of years of uncertainty in my head. The plus point on the brachytherapy, which I was very close to going to, was you go in, it's a day procedure, and then within a few days, you're back to virtually normal. You can continue with everyday life. But then it's a longer term before it's gone.
Yeah.
Whereas getting it removed was a bigger operation and you're out of the game for a longer period initially, but then it's away at a quicker period. So I thought, I'm going to go for that. I know it's probably going to ruin the next couple of months of running, which it's going to ruin more than a couple of months, by the way, but I'm on the right road, so that's good. So yeah, I chose to get my prostate removed. So I went to the hospital, and I have had some operations over the years for different things, and I've been under the knife before and knocked out, woke up, and it's all done and dusted, and I've never batted an eyelid. I've always been absolutely fine. But the day of traveling to the hospital, I was pretty nervous. I thought, this is different. So yeah. So I did go through to the hospital, had the operation, and man alive, I didn't realize how big an operation or how out of action you were going to be. I was floored. When I came out of having the operation, apparently I went into shock. I was basically shaking uncontrollably for a long time. So I was in a recovery room for several hours with all I can remember, because you can only remember certain things at that point because you've just come out of theatre. But I just remember shaking lots, and there being a line of doctors and nurses around me asking themselves questions, and me going, that probably didn't help me with my shaking, because I thought, they don't know what's going on. What the heck is... Yeah. So I shook a bit more. I eventually came out of that, went through to my ward. I was in my ward for about 10 minutes, and then my phone went, which I somehow had close to me, managed to get it, and I had Ben Mornsey, a runner from over this way, on the phone saying, "Are we doing a live YouTube stream in 10 minutes?"
Oh, man. Whoops.
I was lying. Ben, trust me, now is not the time. So, yeah, I did take a picture of myself at that point because I had my phone out. So I thought, I'm going to take a picture because I know I feel awful. So I need to capture something, because I'm not going to record any of this because my head is not in recording mode of anything at all. I just want to go to sleep. I just want to feel better. So I took a picture and put that on one of my videos. I was fine for a good few hours, 12 hours or so. I felt fine because you were still pumped up with loads of drugs. Then the main drugs started easing off, and you were in a fair bit of pain because the 6 scars, they're only small scars. One scar's fairly big, and the other 5 are small because they went in robotically and removed your prostate. But one of the scars has to be bigger because that's where they have to actually pull it out.
Gotcha.
So that side still sore. That's sore today. So that's quite annoying. It's still sore at the moment, but it's getting better. But they only had me in hospital for one night, which wasn't enough. I could hardly walk. I was still in a lot of pain. Yeah. So they should have kept me in hospital more than one night. And my wife had parked the car in a hospital car park, which is nowhere near the entrance because there's never any spaces. So it took, I don't know, it felt like running an ultra, walking from the hospital to the car. And then it took forever to get back home. and you've got a catheter on, so that's a bag to pee in,
Yeah.
which is a whole new experience. Lots of people have them. I've never had anything like that, and it was definitely different. I was pleased to get it out. So you have that bag on for, what was that on for? I think that was on for 10 days.
Oh, wow.
And back up to a different hospital, because where my operation was in a hospital further away. That was in a place called Aberdeen, which is a 2-hour drive. My local hospital's in Inverness, and that's a half-hour drive, but they don't do that particular operation there. But they do remove the catheter. So I went up to that particular hospital to get the bag removed. I was so looking forward to getting the bag removed as well, because it's so annoying when you're not used to it. You're walking about, it's pulling in certain areas, which isn't overly pleasant. You'd get used to it, and lots of people have to get used to it. But when you're not used to it, it's not overly pleasant. So they take the bag off and send me home, and I'm over the moon. I'm still really sore and stiff. I can't really do a lot. I get tired really, really easily. It just knocks you out having this sort of operation. It just totally floors you. It did me. But then 12 hours, it was basically the next day at lunchtime. I was absolutely fine. I just did a little bit of a clip on the video. I thought I'll record a bit. I can't remember what I was talking about. Went in for my lunch, and then I went into what they call retention, where you can't pee, and your bladder fills up, which is quite painful.
Yeah.
And then I could pee for bits, but then as soon as you'd peed, I went into spasms, and I couldn't stop shaking in my core, which was exceptionally sore because of the operation I just had.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just got insanely sore. So I couldn't pee. Then I could pee a little, but as soon as you peed, it was really sore. So I ended up down at the doctor's. All of this typically happened on a bank holiday where everything's shut, including the doctors.
Of course.
So you're on the phone to a doctor, which takes forever to get through to anyone. They eventually got me down to the doctors. Doctor came out to see me. They gave me some medication, said, try this. They didn't know I was in retention at that point. They just thought the spasms were the issue, as opposed to the pain around the bladder and my peeing. So they gave me some medication to stop the spasms, but the spasms just continued to get worse through the night. And about midnight, after literally, I would get up, I would go to the toilet, do hardly anything of a pee, and then just be climbing up the walls, crying with pain. It was horrendous. The whole family were up and getting stressed out. And at midnight, because they kept saying, we need to phone someone, and I'm just, no, we'll be fine. This must be normal kind of thing. But at midnight, I just went, this is, I can't take anymore. So we drove up to Inverness into the emergency room, and I was there for several hours. They were giving me morphine. They were giving me something else as well, which was stronger than morphine because that wasn't doing the job.
Wow.
And then they were holding me down and extracting the pee by putting big needles directly into your bladder.
Wow.
Which whatever hour in the morning, 3 a.m, it was not good. That was more painful than the initial after the operation, which was pretty bad. I thought I was okay with pain, running ultras and such like. I thought I could handle pain, but this was pain on a different scale. This was ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a different kind of pain too. It doesn't slowly onset. It just bang,
Oh yeah, it was instantaneous. It was definitely just hit you straight away. And then they had to do another operation the following morning. So the family went home at, I don't know what time it was, because we all went up to the hospital because they were obviously concerned about me. Driving up to the hospital as well. Oh my God, it's like every bump in the road. I was like holding on to that little coat hook thing on the side of the car. I was hardly sitting down or anything. I was
yeah.
Oh man alive. It was horrendous. Yeah, it's funny now looking back on it, but man, I wouldn't wish this on anyone at all. Yeah, so where are we? Bag. Oh, yes. Extra operation, which I wasn't expecting. So they told me at 4 a.m. or whatever. So like the surgeon will be in at 8 a.m. You'll be first on the list, and we need to get you sorted out, find out what's going on. So I had a quick chat with the surgeon get the extra surgery. Woke up, they put a camera up inside. They did a CT scan as well at 4 a.m. It was all going on. Hard to take on what was going on, because there was a lot going on and you weren't really with it.
Yeah.
With drugs and pain. And where are we now? So yeah, extra operation. Woke up and they told me to put cameras in. Had another bag on. I was like, for God's sake, another bag. So this bag was to stay on longer as well. And I had blood clots inside my bladder, which was stopping me being able to pee and causing all the pain. So yeah, blood clots. So that was 2 operations within 12 days, I think it was.
Wow.
And then the bag was back on for another 2 weeks, back up to the hospital. This again, uncomfortable, but it's not the end of the world. You're going, I've got a bag on again. I'm kind of getting used to this. But then I was really nervous about getting that bag removed again in case the same thing happened again.
Gotcha.
And they took the bag off. You have to hang about in hospital for a couple of hours, drink loads of liquids, make sure you're peeing, make sure everything's okay. Everything seemed okay. Did that. Drove home. It's like 15 minutes into the journey going home. I'm back holding onto the coat hook again.
Oh, no.
I can't believe this. Same thing was happening again. Just couldn't believe. At that point, I was thinking, did I make the right decision by getting my prostate removed? I thought, am I going to have to wear a bag for the rest of my life? Where all things go through your head.
Of course, yeah.
And straight back to the hospital. And hospitals in this day and age with COVID, you're supposed to stand in a queue, make sure you're COVID checked before you go in. I'm straight to the front of the queue. Flipping, let me in, sort of thing. There was nothing stopping me getting straight through. I just said to the receptionist, I was just in here not long ago. I need to go back. And she just looked at me and said, go.
Yeah.
I went straight through and ended up. It's like what everyone told you right from the word go, nurses, doctors, surgeon, was after your bag comes off, you're just going to wet yourself. You're not going to be able to control your bladder. It's going to be worse than you could possibly think. You're just going to be wet. We're going to give you pads. It's going to catch lots, but it's going to be new to you and you're going to be wet. For some strange reason, I was able to control my bladder to the point of I wasn't wetting myself at all. And I haven't really done that, but I was controlling it so much. I wasn't peeing, and my bladder, and I kept drinking because I was told, keep drinking, make sure you drink lots, make sure you just let go. But the letting go bit never really happened, and I just kept drinking. So my bladder was fit for bursting yet again. And so I was able to pee this time. I went back into the hospital and they said, well, can you pee? So I think so. I'll go and try, because it seems weird. You don't know when you need to pee. You just have this insane pain and you don't know why it's there. You've been told you won't be able to hold your bladder. So it can't be that.
Yeah.
I did go to the toilet. I peed, and thank goodness after I peed, it was relief, as opposed to a week or so before where I peed, it went through the roof. So
I got you.
It was, they were looking at me saying, okay, this is very strange. You're not supposed to be able to hold anything. You've held, because they're doing an ultrasound to make sure, see what's going on. So your bladder's absolutely bursting. So like, you need to pee. So I had to get told I needed to pee, which was bizarre. But
That's
I did.
amazing. It's amazing. It's almost like a psychosomatic kind of thing. Like
yeah. I was so pleased though when I could pee, and then the pain went away, and I thought, right, okay, I just need to pee. Sounds so simple, but I was unaware of that because I was told I wouldn't be able to hold it. And since then, I've not really needed to. I've been given, like, goodness knows, 6 months worth of pads to put on and wear, but I haven't been wearing them for much at all. A few days after that, and then I figured out, well, I can actually hold it. I can hold it. I can get up. I can go to the toilet. I may need to go to the toilet on a frequent basis, but I can do that. So I've kind of
Good for you.
skipped a big bad area. I think I've overdosed on certain other bad areas, but I've missed out on, not missed out, but
Cut down on.
you catch my drift.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But they did say it would take up to like between 6 months and a year to get your going to the toilet under control. And after a year, that it's never going to get better. That's just as good as it's going to be. But I think I'm going to be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe I'm jumping too far ahead here or assuming too much, but it seems like you're well on your way, because from what I've seen in your last couple of videos, you're amazingly enough out there on the trails again. So
yeah, but still, I can't really do much. I get tired so quickly. I'm amazed at how tired I get after doing nothing at all. I started back at work last week, and I was going to go back just doing part-time hours. So I did my first day doing 4 hours, and oh man alive, after an hour and a half, I was fit for just lying on the floor and going to sleep. So I did the 4 hours and then phoned up and said, I'm not doing 4 hours. I can't do 4 hours. So I've done 3 hours since, just 3 days a week, just doing 3 hours, which again, I'm doing hardly anything. I'm sitting down a bit, and I'm getting up now and again, walking about, but just doing very little. Tires me out. I'm getting less tired now. I don't know where I am now in the grand scheme of things. I think I'm 9 weeks post first op, which I thought I'd be a lot further down the line of maybe starting to run again. I thought I'd be wet and struggling to go to the toilet, and wearing lots of pads, but I'd be doing longer walks and starting to run. But it's not really been like that for me. As I've just said, the going to the toilet's been a lot better than I thought it would have been. But the going for walks, I did I was determined to do three miles today. So I did 3.1, which is the furthest I've walked. And I was going uphill a little bit more. I was just getting a bit more adventurous. So I want to get out there and I want to do more. I'm trying to be as patient as I can, but I'm getting frustrated with doing, it's like 3 2-mile walks a week and getting really tired. So today I thought I'll just go really slowly, take my time, enjoy being out. And it was great. But by the time I was coming back, I was starting to limp. And basically the side where they take the prostate out, that's still sore. And also, I've got a hernia on that side as well. Okay. When I went into the hospital originally, I did say to the surgeon, just because I knew he was going to be cutting down in that area, I have got a hernia. I don't know if that's going to get in the way. And he said, no, that's fine. He'll be able to work around it. And when I woke up originally, he came over to me and said, which side was your hernia again? I said, it was on the right side. He said, oh, just to let you know, you've got 2, because you've got one on the other side as well.
Wow.
Man, that's really annoying. So but the left-hand side's not causing me any issues, but I think the right side is worse since my operation. It's obviously just aggravated it. And with it being so close to where they did the bigger cut and pulled the prostate out, that whole side there, that's just still painful, which is really annoying. So
well, one thing I just want to express,
kind of where I'm up to. I wish it was going slightly differently, but I'm definitely doing really well on one point, but I'm just getting frustrated on it being such a slow progress in regaining my strength and being able to go for longer walks, and then into running. I just want to go for a run.
Yeah, I know. I know, sir. I know the feeling, as an addicted runner myself, but I just want to jump in here and just kind of let you know, I know when you're on the inside of something, it seems like things are crawling and it's just so everything's moving so slowly. Of course, that's going to be your perspective. But from somebody who's been watching at a distance through YouTube, as a subscriber to your channel, I just want to take the time here specifically on this subject to say that you're an inspiration, that you motivate me with your openness, your honesty, your transparency. And from my perspective, your progress is amazing, and your stick-to-itiveness, the fact that you talk about, I just want to get out there and run, means that it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because of your determination, it's going to happen. And, you know, for what it's worth, there are people, including myself, out there who are really cheering you on, who are really,
That's good to know.
you know, we're on your side 100%. And the fact that you've shared your journey through this immensely difficult situation is, I don't want to keep using these same words, but it's just really inspiring. And please know that you've got people you can lean on out here. You know, even if you just want to talk running until you can get out there and do it yourself, whatever the case may be, whatever helps to get you through.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of people out here who are on your side. And I will tell you specifically about some of those people when we're off air. I don't want to name drop here, but after we turn off the recording, there are some people I want to tell you about.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No, it's just been a really rotten start to the year, basically. Yeah, it's been a crap period. I'd like to say up until now. It's definitely a lot better now than it was.
Yeah.
It's more frustrating than it being as bad as it was. But just at the worst part of when everything was happening, when it was sinking in, when I was making decisions, and just was it pre or post operation? I can't even remember. Yeah, my mum passed away as well.
I'm sorry.
So it was just one thing after the other. It was just, this year's not been good, but it's getting better.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm glad to hear you say that. So with that in mind, sir, I want you to talk a little bit about what motivates you towards running now. What, no matter how small the goals are, what are your future running goals?
Yeah, well, at the moment, my goals are just getting out, being on a trail, being outdoors, being able to be out for longer. My end goal is just to be able to, I don't have a race in mind. I don't have a definite target like that. I just want to go out, spend the day out, being in nature, going up a hill, going for a run, filming things for YouTube. I really enjoy making videos and taking people to different areas and different scenery. I've ordered a drone a couple of days ago, so I'm now looking forward to being able to show people different things and going for a run, carrying it on my back, and then being able to show people, just where I live. Which I just think around here is one of the best places in the world for running. I've obviously not been everywhere in the world for running, but I've been to lots of places. And loads of times I go somewhere that's really amazing, and I often think, it's not quite home though, is it? I know everyone probably thinks that of where they live, but I do really like this place. And I've always wanted to promote this area as well for running and try and help tell people, if you want to go running somewhere, come here. It's amazing. It's like the trails are literally endless, and there's no restrictions. So being in Scotland, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. There's no land access, like you can't go here. I climb over fences and all sorts.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, I'll tell you, my experience, first of all, let me completely agree with you that where you are and where you run is gorgeous and just unbelievable landscapes. But the only reason I'm really, besides your channel, the only reason that I'm really somewhat familiar with it is, being over here in the States, my wife and I are huge fans of Escape to the Country. And we've watched like hundreds of episodes. And I've come to the conclusion that if there was a realistic possibility, there are pretty much 3 places that I would love to live over there. One is South Wales, one is North Wales, and one is Scotland. And so, it's just, mind-blowingly beautiful landscapes. With that said,
Wales is a lovely place, and there's loads of nice locations, and it's really nice. Scotland's just bigger and more remote.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious. I'm going off script here, but I'm just kind of curious. as far as like being able to get out there and run comfortably, like how many months a year does it get super hot in the summer, or are you pretty much, is it
No,
a
I
good?
wish. Yeah. No, last summer it did get hot for a good few months, but then it never gets, yeah, talking Celsius, high 20s is about as hot as it gets. It might touch 30 now and again, but very rarely.
Gotcha.
But most of the time it's going to be through the summer anyway, high teens kind of temperature, which is pleasant for running.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when it gets hotter than that, I struggle in the heat. And through the winter, but pretty much where I am is one of the warmest places in the summer and one of the coldest places in the winter. So through the winter, it'll not regularly, but I don't know, we're down to minus 18 or something like that through this winter.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty cold, and you get a fair bit of snow. You get more snow here than you do anywhere else in the UK.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it is a great place, but most of the year it's a nice temperature for running. It's between kind of 7 and 17, for instance.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, perfect weather. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so to move on from there, sir, that's actually a perfect segue, because now we can come back and talk about your motivation in the first place to start a YouTube channel.
Okay. Well, that comes from, I've been a manager of an outdoor store for a long time, so like a couple of decades. And as time has gone on and my obsession with running has become more, I've had more involvement with the company, with the running side of things. And I've gone to, I get to go to lots of different events, or I did do pre-COVID, lots of different running events around the UK and even into the Alps, where I can go to places and have firsthand knowledge and experience with particular brands. And I get to get stuff to test and try out and give them feedback on what I think of it. And then I get to go to certain events and talk to customers and people who are there to go running, and they'll ask advice on kit and just general running stuff. And I really enjoy talking to people about running and trying to help them out with, a lot of people don't know what to do, what to buy, what to carry. There's a lot to running. It can be simple or it can be quite complicated. So I try and help make it less complicated for people, and people seem to appreciate the feedback I give them and the advice I give. So I wanted to take that to a different level. Plus, I did stop being the manager just over 12 months ago, because I decided to take on a new role with the company I work for, Ellis Brigham. And that role was as like the running guy for the company.
Gotcha.
And specifically go to lots more events. I'll go to the Glencoe Skyline I've been to since it started, and have a stall there and talk to people and sell gear. And I'll do that with lots of different running events around the UK. So that was going to be my new role. But then COVID came along, killed that role off dead, because events died a death. And even now there is no role, because events are coming back so slowly. And there's not going to be big crowds of people wanting to go to stand in a stall and discuss things and buy things for probably quite some time. So that role has gone, and I've stopped being the manager. So I've decided to drop my work days, work less, and dedicate a bit more time to YouTube. I've actually spent an absolute fortune on YouTube.
It's funny the way you just start accumulating things, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but I enjoy it because I see YouTube as a way for me to try and help folk talking about gear. It's not always just talking about gear, because you only get so much gear you can talk about. Yeah. And people probably don't just want to, well, I don't think they do. They don't just want to hear about the same stuff all the time. So I've tried to I don't know, put out different content and different sort of things. I've tried putting some virtual trail runs on my channel. I've tried interviewing some really good athletes, and much as yourself, you've tried doing different things as well. So it's just to try not to be too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's making it easier or harder to grow on YouTube. It's not easy. It takes a huge amount of time,
Yeah.
which you obviously know. But at least now I work less, so I can dedicate a bit more time to it and enjoy it. I'm trying to make this a process that is enjoyable and not, I need to do this by this time and oh my goodness, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I've got an idea for this. Well, this Friday's video for me is going to be my getting back to running video, which is taken over my my usual Friday video where I take people on different runs.
Yeah.
But my Monday video, I have no idea what I'm going to do for next Monday, but I'll need to think of something probably within the next day or two, because I'll be at work for the next few days and time disappears.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
At the moment. Well, just try and come up with something and hopefully people like it. Tonight's video is a massage gun review, which I thought of the other day. So yeah,
that's great.
It's not straightforward, but we'll get there.
Well, exactly. Keep trying new things, and you know, I think variety is the spice of YouTube, as it is for everything else in life. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, what you have been doing, sir, I just want to let you know is great. You know, you're there for me in that small group of the, if there's a new video, I'm on it type of channels. So
that's good. Good. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, well earned, sir. So with that, sir, I'm going to ask you I'm going to switch gears a little bit here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you, I'm just looking here to see which one I'm going to go with next. Yeah, let's just go with just kind of just a out of the left field type of question. Share something that your subscribers might not already know about you.
Okay, blimey. Right, okay. Well, something they've recently found out, because up until a week or so ago, you only ever really saw me in a pair of shorts. So with my walking a bit more sort of videos, you've discovered my love of kind of like brightly colored clothing.
Okay.
So certainly on my latest videos, you're seeing the sort of trousers and different colors I like. I do like to, yeah, not stand out, but I just like bright colors. Yeah. I like to wear, what's the point in having dull things? It's amazing the amount of times I walk past someone with a bright pair of, I've got bright red trousers on at the moment and a bright blue top, but I'll walk past someone wearing something ridiculously bright, hopefully not too garish, but people will smile when they walk past and they'll comment and they'll start speaking to you. I've even had a woman run across the road before and give me a hug because I cheered her up, walking down the road wearing some bright yellow trousers. So
that's so great.
Yeah, that's probably not the sort of thing. What else don't you know about me? Very random thing. I once broke my leg in a toilet.
Oh, sounds like it could be a good story.
I was fairly young. I was dying for the toilet, ran to the toilet, slipped as I entered the toilet on the wet floor that had just been mopped, broke my leg and ended up in hospital.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, not many people know that, but a few more know it now.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right. Along these same kind of lines, I'm going to ask you kind of a big question. How has running changed your life for the better?
Yeah, it's hugely. Yeah, it's just made me appreciate life more, appreciate the outdoors more, certainly. It's made me fitter, healthier. It's hopefully, since I've started running, my kids were much younger then, so they've grown up watching me be fitter and healthier and going outdoors and doing things. So hopefully that's helped them lead a healthy lifestyle as well. My son Jake is fit, healthy, does lots of different things. So hopefully some of that has come from me. My daughter is less so, but then everyone is different. She's not really gone down there, but then I wasn't when I was younger. So, yeah. But it's certainly made me look at life differently. I'm hoping it's helped my wife as well. I think she's just given up and accepted my love for running.
I was trying to figure out what angle you were about to go with there.
Yeah. No, it's better in every way. See, you talk about people. I'm talking with you now. I've met you. You get to meet loads of different people. Hopefully, your enthusiasm for it comes out, and you just have this. I don't know. You can bounce off people and chat with people and talk about healthier lifestyles. I don't want to be one of those people as you must do this, you must do that.
Of course. Yeah.
But hopefully, if I get to chat to someone and they've got any form of interest, then I can help build that interest.
Yeah,
But I certainly don't want to be, you stop doing that, go for a run. No, go for a run if you want to go for a run. And running can mean so many different things as well. It can mean I want to lose weight. I want to get faster. I want to do X, Y, or Z. Just figure out what it means to you. It's meant loads of different things to me over the years.
I'm so glad you said that. Yeah.
And just roll with it. It's like, I've wanted to get faster years ago. Less of interest to me. Maybe I'll want to get faster again at some point. I just want to be happy. I just want to be outside and enjoy it. And I often think when I go out running as well, I see people walking. Walking's fine. Nothing against walking. But you don't get the same buzz as you get when you go running.
Absolutely.
And you get to see more when you go running. Well, you do and you don't, because you're traveling quicker, so you may miss certain things, but you can go further. I can go out for a 20-mile run. I've seen 20 miles of countryside, whereas someone in the same time period, they've only managed a 5-mile walk. It's like, yeah. And I often think, I'm not wanting to be better than someone, not at all, but I've seen more than I would have seen if I went for a walk. I'm getting my value worth out of the day.
Exactly. And so to harken back to something that you said earlier in the interview, you run, but it seems like as you have become a more experienced runner, you know when to stop and appreciate the details. You know what I mean? Like when you said you stop and you break out your camera and take a picture of something that's amazing. So I think you found that perfect balance where you're going out there, you're moving fast, you're seeing a lot of territory, but when something extraordinary pops up, you're willing to stop and not just plow through it.
It's important. Yeah, it's important to just stop and look at the deer. Look at I like running at night as well. I haven't done it for a while because this winter's been a bit different. But I like running at night, and we've got my head torch on and you see the eyes coming through the trees. Now, it kind of freaks a lot of people out. I like it.
That's something, yeah. As long as it's something that it can't eat you, yeah.
Yeah. Well, over here, there's nothing dangerous, so.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'm kind of safe over here, but yeah, I do often wonder as well about folk running where you run, for instance. Like there must be loads of dangers, and I don't know if I'd have the same enthusiasm if I thought I was going to get eaten by a bear or mauled by a lion. Yeah,
there's bears, there's bobcats, there's people with knives.
Yeah, that's just bizarre.
Yeah, it's just a little different over here.
Yeah, I'm glad I live here.
Cool. So, sir, I'm going to move on to the last real question before we start wrapping up. I want you to share what you would consider a favorite piece of advice for runners and also for YouTubers.
Okay, runners will, going back to what I just mentioned, find out what's important for you with your running. Figure it out. Running can mean so many different things. So think about what do you want to gain from your running, and just go for it. Go all out. If you want to get quicker, train to go quicker. Don't just expect to get quicker. Do some training and eat properly. Put in the effort and go for it. But if speed's not your thing, if you just want to be out and go a little bit quicker than a walk, that's absolutely fine. Just do it. Just find out, stop and think. Why do you want to go for a run? What is it you're trying to get from running? And just think about your running a little bit, because it is quite easy. Early part of my running, certainly, I just go out and run, and I wouldn't really enjoy it so much. Mm-hmm. I'd just be out running. I'd be trying to improve, but I didn't really know what improving meant. And I'd come back and go, that was hard work, and I'm sure this is sore or that's sore. And then I'd just go out and do it again. I was just relentless on, I'd have an Excel spreadsheet, and I'd write down loads of information. Right, I did this. I need to do this quicker next time, or I need to go further. But I was just trying to, make it better by looking at a piece of paper.
Gotcha.
As opposed to actually stopping and thinking, like, what is it I actually want from running? So yeah, advice for runners: think about what you want to get from your running, figure it out. It may not be easy to figure out, but just have a think on it and go for it. YouTubers wise, so advice for YouTubers is it depends where you are on your journey, but dedicate some time to it. Find something, whatever your subject is. Hopefully it's running, but if it's not, whatever subject it is, be passionate about it. Do something that meaningful to you. Because if you don't enjoy it and you're not passionate about it, it's going to be so much harder. I'm only still with YouTube because it's something I've chosen to do that I really, really enjoy and I'm passionate about. So if it's not your thing, if you're trying to think, I need to do this, I need to do that, it makes it harder. I've definitely, when I started off, I was certainly more scripted, more wooden. I was just trying to think about what I want to do too much. Whereas now, I don't know, I'll wing it more. I'll just talk about it. And I'd rather somebody just ask me a question, I just have to think of the answer there and then. Or if I'm talking about a product, I'll just have to come out with my experience on it, as opposed to it is this heavy and it does this and it does that. I'll try and bring that into it, but I'll try and do it in less of a scripted kind of way.
Yeah.
So enjoy your journey. It's going to take a lot of time, man hours. It's probably going to cost you more than you think. But as long as you're enjoying it, and hopefully people enjoy watching you, and you'll grow. Hopefully, anyway, hopefully we all grow.
Exactly. You'll find your niche audience will find you eventually. It's just a matter of making sure you're doing it for the right reasons, as you said. So
I often think though, are we too niche? Are we that niche? Am I trying to go too? That's another reason to try and just not do the same content all the time for me. Anyway, if I'm just talking about ultra running all the time, it's not really that many people that ultra run. So you're going to hit a lot bigger audience if you talk about other stuff. So I don't know. I'm still learning. We're still tiny channels in the scheme of thing, and we have a lot to learn ourselves.
Oh, exactly. Good point. And I think the idea of always being willing to, change, adapt, try new things, don't worry about failing. I think in the end, what it comes down to, for me as a fan of your channel, what it comes down to is I just like you. I just like tuning in and seeing Martin talk about something. So, with that, sir, I created my own little segue here, but I want to give you the opportunity. First of all, let me say thank you so much for being here, period. And thank you for being, again, so transparent about your journey through a very difficult situation. Your presence here is so appreciated, sir. And I want to encourage you to just keep on keeping on, keep pushing. You will get there. I know it feels like a long journey, but you're getting there, and it's very encouraging. So.
I will get there, and it is getting closer. It's just not as quickly as I'd want it to be, but that's what it is, isn't it? I just have to be patient. I'm almost telling myself on a day. Well, I am on a daily basis. Be patient. Be patient.
Yeah. But I appreciate you taking us all along on your journey, because
thanks very much for having me on your channel. This has been really good, and it's great to catch up and chat with you. So again, I've watched your channel, but we've never talked directly. So this is nice. This is a good thing about YouTube as well. So it's a world community, isn't it?
Exactly.
Of which I was unaware of not very long ago.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me. Like, we're friends now, and we would have never even known each other existed if it wasn't for this platform. So with that, sir, I want to give everybody else the opportunity to get to know you. So I'm going to share all of your social media outlets in the description for the video below, but I just want to give you a last opportunity here to talk about all the different places people can find you, and what's on each of those platforms that they can look forward to finding.
Okay, well, YouTube's my main thing, which takes up every waking hour. sometimes seems. Then I'm also on Instagram as well under the Determined Runner. So Instagram, yeah, that's a slower burner for me, but it's slowly getting there. I've not even looked at things like TikTok. I don't even know what that is. Yeah. Like, everyone keeps telling me about try things like that. So I've not tried that. I'm on Strava. On Strava, I'm under my real name, Martin Bell. So you can find me on Strava. I'm on WordPress. I used to write about different things, about different events and kit reviews on WordPress. But since I've done YouTube, I've not had the time to actually do anything on WordPress. But WordPress, I'm on under the Determined Runner as well. I'm on Twitter. I don't know if I'm on Martin Bell or the Determined Runner. It's one or the other.
Okay, well, I'll link, like I said, I'll link to it. We'll find
I
it.
sometimes wonder who I am. What name am I going by?
Yep.
But I think if I just keep saying the Determined Runner, the more it's out there, I don't know, the easier it will be for people to find me.
Yeah.
I think that's all I'm on. I'm sure I'll think of something after we've gone off air, but I think that's all my social media is. I'm not on Facebook. I came off Facebook. I was on Facebook until pretty much until I was diagnosed. And then I just thought, I want to come off Facebook. I know lots of things go through your head when something like that happens, and I pulled myself off. So, and I've not missed it at all.
It's funny. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you, but,
so,
all right.
Everyone, please come along. Check out my social media. Check out my channel.
Absolutely.
You've already checked out Paul's channel because you're here watching.
Exactly. But yeah, I encourage everybody. We're pretty much at the end of this now. So everybody, go down there, open up the description to this video, click over to Martin's channel. It's awesome. It's awesome. So
thanks.
With that, sir, I want to thank you again for being here. I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the journey back to running. You're going to get there, and we're all going to be cheering you on. So thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Paul. And thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.